Hello and welcome to the Cinemadome podcast. This is episode number 4. I'm Adrian,
And I'm Ethan.
and today we're going to be talking about two Dennis Hopper films, Easywriter and The Last Movie, as suggested by Ethan.
Yep.
I know we were talking about this earlier, but how did you come across Easywriter? Let's just start with that one.
I think my understanding of Easywriter before I saw it was just that it was a fun biker film, and I wanted to see it for that reason. Also, I knew like the Born to Be Wild song, and I knew it came from. I don't know if that actually comes from this movie. I know it's probably what popularized it. I don't know if it was written for the movie though. But whenever I hear that song, I think of Easywriter, and I always knew that. So that's what sparked my interest in seeing it, and I first saw it at a pretty young age, like I don't know, like 11 or 12 maybe. Um, and yeah, it's been one of my favorite movies ever since then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say you thought it was just a biker film at first, because I kind of came into it not just thinking it was just a biker film, but like I didn't really know what to expect from Easywriter, because
Yeah.
like it's one of those movies where it's been on my watch list. It's one of those classics I've had to watch, but I just haven't got to. And I know a lot about, the impact it's had, and the how it kind of launched the career of Jack Nicholson and all these guys, but
Mhm.
uh I just didn't know fully what the plot was, to be honest, until I actually watched it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I watched it, because I can now say that I watched it and it was a great film. I genuinely really enjoyed it, and I know I'll go back to it.
Okay.
um
Yeah, it's one
but
of my favorites.
yeah, it's, you know what, like, well, let's kind of talk about the themes it represents, because I I really think both of these films have a lot of similar themes. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't know if I would have noticed the similarities if I hadn't watched them back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so like, in a way, I guess, in a simple terms, what do you like? What's your take on Easy Rider? Like, what do you think it represents? What do you think it's trying to tell you as the audience, et cetera, et cetera?
I, I think it is about the death of the hippie dream, which is subsequently the American dream, um, which isn't an original take. Pretty much everyone says that, but I mean, it's because it's what it's about. So, um, but I think the ending pretty much encapsulates everything. This like free lifestyle just like comes to the screeching halt, and it's just and I think the last movie is about like the malaise of after the hippie days and just like living in like this like postmodern world of the 70s and just like the death of idealism. But I mean, we'll get to that later. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Um,
kind of got ahead of myself.
no, you know what's funny is like, um, Easy Rider, it it really sells itself as a hangout movie for the first like hour.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Hmm.
you're kind of lulled into thinking it's just that, like it's just these guys and they're trying to get to Mardi Gras, and this is what the film is about, and it's enjoyable enough as just that. But like the shift that it takes about maybe an hour through, something like that, was really unexpected for me. And I don't know if that is that kind of the was it like super unexpected for you as well when you first watched it? Like, do you remember, can you go back to that and think like how you felt when you first watched it at all?
Honestly, I was so young. I don't really think I had like the emotional intelligence to pick up that shift.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I don't think I would have either.
So I'm not really. so, but I definitely see what you mean. I don't really know how it impacted me on my first viewing, though, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems like there's just a complete shift from that, from the moment they step in that diner, where it goes from
Yeah.
almost like a road comedy hangout film to like something more serious. And then especially in the scene after that, where, spoiler alerts, Jack Nicholson's character gets murdered, they get beat or
Yeah.
whatever. That's like a total shift,
And
and
the whole
from there the
conversation.
movie's, yeah, like from there the movie's something else. Like from there the
Yeah.
movie's like a bad acid trip, literally and figuratively.
Totally,
You know what
totally,
I mean?
yeah, um,
Um,
for sure. And I think that was most certainly deliberate. I think it's because like it's trying to show like I said, like the idealistic kind of values and that bohemian lifestyle that was going on in the 60s, and just how that all came to like a screeching halt with just how everything just went to shit pretty much.
yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. And I'm sure, like, I mean, one thing that's unique about this film is that it was actually made during that time. Like, a
Hmm.
lot of times when you have a movie about an era, or like the end of an era or something like that, it's made years later. But like this movie was made actually as this was happening, like right in the midst of it, which I think is kind of
Yep.
interesting. You don't see a lot of World War II movies made during World War II. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like,
Hmm.
you don't see a ton of them. I'm sure there are some out there. But like you don't see a ton of those movies like that actually are documenting something as it's going on.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like
And
we're gonna
because
have some COVID films coming, but that's horrible. That's something totally different.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think some are already like at film festivals. I'm pretty sure I've
Yeah.
already read about some of them.
Yeah, I've seen a few on like HBO Max or something. They look so bad, like to be honest. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. Like few years of constant crap getting turned out about the COVID-19 pandemic. But I digress.
Sure.
But yeah, I felt like as I was watching, I was kind of thinking that's an interesting thing is that you know they were actually making it during that time, and I wonder like, well, I know this film had a huge impact on the generation of like
Hmm.
people that saw it, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was big in like drive-ins and stuff like that. If I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken, I believe I read that somewhere,
Yeah.
and I could see why. Like, you know, I
Hmm.
could totally see why people would want to go and actually watch this during the time, and yeah, so I don't know, interesting film.
Well,
Like, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say there aren't many movies from that time that really capture this lifestyle,
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
and
I can't
this
think
is
of
one of
many
the few
better.
that do.
Like, this is certainly the most popular.
Yeah, I can't really either. Yeah, for sure.
Um, well, yeah, it's like you said. Like I think a lot has been said on Easywriter already, and in a way, it's the film speaks for itself, and we're kind of just rehashing ideas to rehashing ideas that
Yeah,
have already been spoken about it. But I think there's a lot that hasn't been spoken about the last movie because
no one's
I
seen it.
mean, yeah, not a lot of, I don't think tons of people have seen it. And I certainly haven't like heard any podcasts about it or anything. I mean, I haven't been digging for them, but I like to think of myself as a pretty big listener of film podcasts. And I've never really heard the film talked about that much in the film community. So
I just searched up for reviews for it and I couldn't find shit. So
really,
yeah,
damn, that really
I mean, I'm sure
surprised
they
me.
exist. I'm just looking in the wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's,
think it was lost for a long time.
oh, was it?
I think so. I don't know. I was reading because I have the Blu-ray. I was reading about the restoration, and I think they were like talking about like rebuilding it there because originally it was like super fucking long, which you can kind of see.
Yeah. There's a lot of
But
like it weaves out of a in and out of a lot of ideas.
oh yeah, which I think makes it more. I think it's one of those films that like the criticisms and the flaws only exemplify the point further.
Explain, like that's an interesting point.
So like the whole film is like about colonialism or yeah, and like taking over and like white man's greed and like but like the reason they're doing that is they're going to this country and they're trying to give these people like a voice for themselves, but I mean they're still following like the white savior trope and like it's showing that, but it's like the guilt of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a
I
ton of
should
sense.
have so it and it's I think again we were talking this goes back to Videodrome even how like you how the art impacts your psyche and how art is a manifestation of your psyche.
Yeah.
So this is like saying like all this violence that you see in the cinema, it could potentially have a real impact on you and could potentially really desensitize you and like just completely destroy your perception of reality. And like this film really does play with the perception of reality with the way
Oh,
it's edited, which is like the most insane part of the movie.
yeah.
It's like the acid trip scene in Easywriter for 2 hours.
Yeah, I would say like the thing I appreciated, I like first of all, I enjoyed the movie like for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I, I I mean, it's definitely a film you got to go back to pick up new things, but on first viewing like I enjoyed the film for what it is. I had a good time with it and I thought it, there's like a lot to unpack with it. But I would genuinely say the thing that I appreciated the most after watching it is the editing because
Yeah, for sure.
like I think we briefly talked about this, but what I loved the most about the film is that you don't know what's real and what's not like
Mm-hmm.
by the end. Like it's like you're just like mind fucked. Like you don't know what's real, what's a movie, what's the story within
Yeah,
the movie.
and again, it's that like life merging with art, or
Yeah,
art merging with life, vice versa, whatever.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, that's a great point. I think that intention that they were going for it like hits the nail. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Like you really are you really experience that by the end. Um that's something that films rarely do. Not that they rarely do, but like I haven't seen a ton of films that have genuinely made me feel like that in a way where it's like
At least not this jarring.
yeah, like not that. Yeah, it's just super bold. Like, you know what I mean?
It,
And you could take
yeah,
it for what it is. Like, if it's you might not like it even. Like, I could see why people wouldn't like this movie even. But I
yeah.
like you can't deny that that's like super bold. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I've very rarely seen films willing to go that bold in that
Mm-hmm.
direction. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't know. A lot of people complain that it's aimless, and again, I think that's true. But that kind of goes back to the point I was saying about like the white savior thing. Like you could see that as a flaw, but I think that this further exemplifies the point of it because Easy Rider is all about like the death of the 60s, and then this is just the malaise of the 70s, just living in that death,
Yeah. Yeah. It's more
that
of
death of
a
idealism, and just like succumbing to nihilism.
yeah, I would say it's like to people who would say that my rebuttal would be that it's more a film about it, the experience of watching it than
Oh, for sure.
than the story or I mean I know that's said a lot and it could even be said to save pretentious films. Like people could say, no, this is a film about the experience of watching this film, not what it's
I
about.
think it's a valid point.
It is a valid point in some films. Like this film is really about watching it, like what you're experiencing watching it. In my opinion, that's what I
Yeah,
took from it because
it feels like a drunken night or like a memory of like the a weekend after something like if you're really fucked up one weekend and like a weekend passes and you're trying to remember that weekend, this is what that movie feels like.
yeah, like a
It's
fucked
just
up memory.
fragments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah, it's just fragments of and you know what? I didn't really think about like, man, this film must have been longer, but now that you say it, it makes a ton of sense because the even like
Yeah.
the
So is
plot.
Easy Rider too.
Oh, really? That makes sense
Yeah, like
too.
both movies were at least like 7 hours long.
Holy shit, 7 hours.
Yeah. Then they had to cut it.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Oh
this film was even longer because he had like an actually big budget and he could like do whatever he wanted.
yeah, yeah. Um, no, it like because especially like the plot about the gold and stuff like that. I mean, they
Yeah.
kind of skim over that, but I mean, I think that's kind of like a pretty important plot point in a lot of ways because it kind of goes back to the themes you were talking about of like
Yeah.
because I mean, what's more than like white people taking over shit than like going to mine gold in a foreign country.
Yeah, it's colonialism.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh, I should have asked, where did you come across this film?
This film I saw like in the last year.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I love Easywriter obviously and have for a while, and I was just like wondering like about other movies he made, and I just saw this and like people were like describing it as like a clusterfuck, and I heard someone uh I bought the Blu-ray like I said, and like in there's an article in there, and I think let me see what so this critic named Mike Plant described it as avant-garde, which is like it's too it's too avant-garde for the mainstream, but it's too like trashy for the art world, which I don't know if I agree with that, but that's what he described it as. Because I think this fits in pretty well with the art world, but at
yeah.
least maybe not in the 70s, but it certainly does now.
I don't think there's anything like. I mean, I would expect a term like that to be used for something like an early John Waters
John
film
Waters.
or something,
Yeah,
where
exactly.
it's like it's it's definitely avant-garde, but it's still like it's trashy in a fun way that the art like avant-garde community might not appreciate. But this film is kind of I
I
just
think the reason he said that was the Western elements, but yeah, I agree.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But I
Because
would
like
just think of this film as avant-garde.
mutual friend of the show, Sarah, was what's up?
Oh wait, go
What'd you
ahead.
say? Sorry.
No, I was just saying like I would just think of this film as avant-garde, but go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think it's just because of the Western elements. Like our mutual friend Sarah, we were talking about Westerns, and she was like, "Yeah, this is one of the only Westerns I've ever seen."
Oh wow.
So I don't know. I guess some people like if you look on Letterboxd, the genre tags, I believe it say it's a Western.
I
So
guess
I
I
think
think
it's like
there's
operating in that. But I mean, no, I don't agree with it either. I just thought it was interesting.
no, yeah, that is interesting. Uh, I wouldn't think of this film as a western until you said it. But it kind
Yeah,
of makes
you know
sense.
who the director was, right? Of the Western.
The western?
Yeah,
No, who? Like
in the
John
movie,
Ford? Oh,
Samuel Fuller.
oh, no, no, no. Oh, there's a movie called The Western. I'm sorry.
No, in this movie, the movie that they're making in the movie.
Oh, that was Sam Fuller.
Yeah,
Oh, wow, that's super cool. No, I didn't know that.
yeah, everyone's calling him Sam and shit.
Did you? That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, dude, you always bring up the cool little fucking facts like that. I would never have known that. That's awesome.
Yeah, rocks.
Sam Fuller's the
Yeah,
fuck.
he's such a badass with his cigar.
Oh yeah,
What he doesn't.
we have to do some episodes on Sam Fuller. 'Cause he's got some
Yeah,
interesting.
I've been thinking about that recently.
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah,
that's got to be soon because everything I've seen by Sam Fuller is like kind of whoa.
I've been thinking about that too. So yeah,
Have you seen any of
if
his
you don't
films?
do it first, then I will.
Yeah, maybe shit. Maybe next episode.
I've seen the Steel Helmet. I've seen the Thin Red, the fuck, what's it called? Not Thin Red Line, but the fuck, Big Red One. What's it called?
I haven't seen that one. I think it's called The Big Red One.
This is gonna bother me. I need to look it up.
I feel like you're right. I think it is called that.
Big Red One.
I think.
Let me just double check.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Always trust your intuition. Um, I've watched. I watched. This is like his first film, and it's kind of obscure, but I just watched it because of my OCD shit. But I shot Jesse James,
Oh man, that's on my
which
watch
is
list.
streaming on Canopy.
Yeah, is it good?
It's really cool.
Man, I might have to watch that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Have you seen Shock
Um,
Corridor?
but that's it. I haven't. No.
No. I've seen let me think. I've seen Shock Corridor, The Naked Kiss, and The Steel Helmet. I really love The Steel Helmet.
This is Steel Helmet's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, wait. Fuck. I'm confused. I'm confusing all of this shit. Sorry. I don't remember what I have. I'm confusing that with Big Red One, and I don't remember which one I've seen.
Oh, Steel Helmet's the one where it's
Because
like,
they're both World War II.
yeah. Steel Helmet's like the soldier and he's with the boy and the boy's
It's
like,
black and white, right? Because it's one of his earlier films, right?
yeah.
Okay, then no, I've seen Thin. God damn it. Big Red One. I keep saying Thin Big One because I'm confusing with the Thing Red Line
The
or
thin
Thin Red
big
Line.
red line one. Yeah, no, I understand. But yeah, Sam Fuller would be a cool episode, and
It
that's
would be. I want to do that. He's a director that I've been wanting to watch like a lot recently. He's been on my mind a lot.
yeah. I like that makes sense that him and Dennis Hopper would be friends too, like totally.
They're both like early studio like renegades in the Hollywood system.
Yeah, because Sam Fuller was like very controversial throughout
Oh
his
yeah.
entire career. I mean, I think The Naked Kiss might be one of the first films to deal with pedophilia. I mean, like,
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
yeah,
It's
because it's
crazy.
such a taboo concept, and especially back then. But like, I think that might be one of the first films. And it was like extremely
Interesting.
controversial, but that's for another episode. Anyways,
Yeah.
back to the last movie. Um, well, that's really cool. Yeah, the movie within the movie. That's always a thing I really love. You know, I
It
mean,
looks like a cool movie.
yeah. I wonder if Quentin Tarantino was influenced by this for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because I noticed there's a moment in the last movie where, like, without knowing it, you become the camera, and that's something they also did in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You know, when they're filming like the TV Western show with Leonardo DiCaprio's character and stuff, and the camera actually moves how like the director is talking about it. I
I
noticed there was
don't
a
remember
shot.
that honestly.
Oh, really? It's like it's I don't know how to describe it. I
I
probably
know what it is in this movie, but I don't remember
yeah,
it in Once
yeah.
Upon a Time.
Well, like I remember like there was a scene in this movie where the director or somebody on the set's like back to position one
Yeah,
or
Sam Fuller.
yeah, and then the camera actually moves back, and it's
Hmm.
like, but it doesn't, I don't know. That's just a little tidbit, but I wonder.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I wonder if there's some influence
it
there,
might have.
but
You know who I do think it influenced though?
huh,
Is late era Terrence Malick.
interesting. See, I
I
haven't
really
seen.
think there's a lot of similarities, like in the way they're both like kind of like tone films and like the way they're cut with like all the weird ass like baffling editing choices, and just like about reeling in the nature, like the waterfall sex scene reminded me very much of Terrence Malick.
Yeah, that's a like a um that I haven't seen post early Terrence Malick, but from what I have seen, like tidbits of it, I that kind of makes sense. Like they're very much like more about like kind of what we were saying earlier. Like they're more about the experience of watching them,
For
from what I
sure.
get at least from his
Yeah.
later films. Especially like Night of Cups and Song to Song in those
Yeah.
movies, like where he went like
Not a Cups
really
rocks.
experimental. Yeah, I still gotta watch
Yeah.
those. But
That's really cool.
yeah, that
Well,
makes
I don't know. Most people don't. I like it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah. Well, like, uh, I don't know. I guess what do you? I mean, it's a lot to unpack, but what do you think about Dennis Hopper's character in this? Like, what?
Oh, he's a piece of shit. Again,
Yeah.
again though, I think that's kind of the point. Like, it's supposed to be like he's a terrible person, and I think that's supposed to like he's supposed to be arrogant, and it's showing like the arrogance of the American film industry of being like, oh, look at us, like how bold we are for showing these experiences. Like even now, like white directors like directing like queer stories and being like, or
Oh,
straight that doesn't make any sense. Straight directors directing queer stories and being like, oh, like look how brave it is that we're talking about this, like something like Philadelphia or something, which I'm not shitting on that movie, but that's just like the first thing that came to my head. Of like that, of like this like neoliberal kind of thing of like we're going to give these people a voice to be heard, but we're not going to let them speak their voice. We're going to speak their voice for them.
yeah, we're really the ones speaking the voice.
Yeah.
We're just gonna
So
talk about their stories, like
yeah, so they're
essentially.
still the ones in power.
Yeah. No, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you kind
Which
of hit the nail. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, it's all good. I was gonna say Dennis Hopper is most certainly guilty of that, but like he acknowledges it, and I think that's a lot more than anyone else is willing to do, like even now.
Well, I'm interested to hear why you think he's guilty of that. Are you talking about with
Well, yeah,
Easywriter?
because this is the whole concept of the movie of like him going to Peru and like
Oh,
the the,
oh,
the
okay.
natives like thinking like it's like a movie and like he's still like him and like all the white guys looking for gold. They're like still the main stars of it.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant like Dennis Hopper was guilty of this before this film. Like he was like with Easywriter or something. I get what you mean now because they actually went to Peru
Yeah,
and made this film and yeah.
yeah, but yeah, just being part of like the Hollywood system. I mean, he is kind of guilty by proxy even for those reasons. And I'm not saying like cancel Hollywood, but because I love movies and shit. So, and I'm if I sound like one of these like overly woke guys, then I don't intend to because that's not how I am at all. But
No, no, I get what you're saying though. That is what the film is saying. Like what I think the film is saying, and it's kind of like talking about what I mean in a lot of ways, like the sins of the American film industry, like the representation
absolutely,
and all
and it's the
that.
American people.
Yeah, and I also find it interesting, like going on that point, that I mean, you never really know like what what the intention of the natives is in a way. Like you're confused, like, and you're confused through a lot of this film, which
Hmm.
also goes to the experience. But you don't know, like, are they gonna kill him? Like, are they really trying to kill him? Do they really think this is real? Like, I don't know. I'm genuinely confused because like I was genuinely confused as to what their intention was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think it goes back to like that. What's up? Sorry, we keep like I think there's like a 3 second delay or something.
I think so too. I was gonna say it might be my internet connection, so I'm sorry if there is. So,
Oh,
like,
it's all good. It could be my fault too.
we keep saying my internet connection's unstable. So, but
Oh, okay.
well, I guess I'm just saying like I find that interesting. Like, it's like you never really know like are the natives, because at first it totally presents itself as the natives think that movies are real, and they think
Hmm.
that you really have to do this shit. You have to, if you kill somebody in a movie, you're really killing them, or like, you know what I mean. But then by the end of the
Yeah.
film, along with everything in the film, you're completely confused onto what the truth is. Like, do the natives, are they trying to kill this guy, or are they trying, like, are they thinking it's real
Yeah.
and have to kill him to make, you know what I'm saying, like.
For sure. I think it goes back to like what we were saying earlier about like how like art merges with the psyche. So like I think like once you get so involved in a film that your senses merge with the film, and then as a result of that, like your reality becomes a film. So like at the beginning, it's just general confusement and like misunderstandings of cultures because they don't know, but by the end of it, it's like they've been around this so long that they are a part of it.
Yeah,
If
that's
that makes sense.
yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, I think like man, I'm really glad you forced me to watch this film too, because that I I mean, I'm not going to say like on first watch like I'm in love with this film or anything, but even just talking about it, like I want to go back and watch it, you know? Like I
It's
want to.
honestly a hard film to love. I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz it asks a lot of you, huh? Like it asks
Yeah,
a
it
lot
does.
out of the audience to to
For sure.
watch a movie that may seem pointless, but like to go through the experience of it. And I know like I'll watch this movie many times throughout my life, and um,
Hmm.
I'll 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 find more things about it. And that's like genuinely that's the best types of films, because
Absolutely.
I like, even just like I said, even just talking about it now, I want to rewatch it.
Hmm.
So
For sure.
very very fucking unique film, man. Very
Absolutely.
very very dope.
It's a movie I think about all the time.
Yeah, yeah, it's
It's
been on my
very
mind
much
since I
informed.
watched it. Like every day, I
Yeah.
thought about this film in tidbits.
Hmm.
And you know what I think? Like also another thing that's interesting is that it ends like how it ends with their conversation about the gold. Like it's kind of such a random
Hmm.
way to end the film. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really baffling.
Yeah, yeah. It makes you think. Like what their intention was behind that. You think it's like maybe to drive their points home? I don't know, but I remember sitting there like after that whole little big dramatic scene where they're filming like the ending of the movie and Dennis Hopper's on the ground and all those different takes and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is a great ending. And then
And now you're cutting out.
and then it goes to that, which I thought is an interesting ending too. It just like you said, baffling. Are you there?
Fuck. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still there. Oh, thank Lord. Oh my God. Hopefully, okay. I was like really scared that we were about to lose like this 35-minute recording. Are you there? Yeah. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I don't know why our internet's being so messed
I'm
up.
there still. Your screen's frozen, but that's not a big deal.
Oh, okay. No worries. If my screen,
All right, there you go. You're moving again.
I'm moving again. Okay, sweet. I don't know why our internet's being so bad tonight. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's maybe a
I
combination
don't know
of
either.
our internets. But well, hell,
I think so
we
too.
will
Yeah.
tempt the gods. But
I missed most of what you said, but
yeah, well, yeah. I just think it's interesting.
what's up? Sorry.
I'll say like I just think it's an interesting ending. I think it's baffling, like you said.
It's a very interesting ending. Yeah,
What do you take it to?
completely agree. And I was about to say I'm still trying to figure that out. I think it's maybe like, I don't know, I'm figuring this out like on the spot, so like excuse me if I'm talking out of my ass, but like um the last thing that on their mind was the money pretty much. Because that's the last thing you see in the movie is them talking about gold, and like that's again talking about how America and capitalism and this system use art. So it's like, before we let this go, we're going to have another conversation about the money before we get into anything else. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out too.
Yeah, no, yeah. I like that's how I kind of took it too, and this at least in the sense of like that they were driving their point home. Like Dennis Hopper was trying to drive his point home about, what this film is actually about, maybe. That's how I kind of,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is in line with what you're saying.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so the last movie, man, thank you, man. Once again, good film.
Of course.
Great film. I'm really like
I love
glad
it.
I'm like honestly, I think these are like I don't think I've watched a new movie that I haven't seen prior to this podcast since we started the podcast outside of these two. So like this is why I kind of wanted to do the podcast in general, is because I like us suggesting films to each other and seeing
sure.
things that we haven't seen before and showing
Mm-hmm.
like talking about what these films mean to like us, because I genuinely want to know like where you came across these films and what your experience was with these films, because that's my favorite thing about movies is
Yeah.
the experience around watching them,
Mm-hmm.
like thinking back to where you were in your life, like I know like the first time I saw Psycho, like I know where I rented that, like I know, I got it from the library for 50 cents. Like that holds a place in my heart, So
For sure.
I really like that aspect of this podcast, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to start it, is so I could, you know, so we could both share our movies and our experiences with
Absolutely.
these movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All
And
right,
hopefully
man.
we get
Well,
better. Not that
yeah,
we're doing bad. I'm not very articulate, is what I'm saying.
what I'm finding is I'm not very articulate. I repeat the same phrases over and over, man. Like I'm genuinely, I'm gonna be the first to say I'm not the best at expressing my feelings for what I'm thinking up here about.
Yeah.
Like I want to talk so much more deeply about these things because I can think about them in my mind and I have more thoughts, but it's hard for me to articulate past a certain point. I'm finding, but that isn't
Yeah.
to say we
Me
can't,
too.
we can't articulate our love for these movies or our thoughts. But
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be something that comes with experience, really.
Maybe a year from now we'll do the last movie again and be more
Yeah,
articulate.
yeah. See, that'd be
And
fun.
by that time, both of us will have digested it more.
Yeah, we've both
I
seen it.
mean, I've seen it a few times, but still,
Yeah,
you
I'll
can
see.
always digest things more.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Any final thoughts? Any last thoughts on the last movie?
Great music.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's something Dennis Hopper. I mean, both Easy Rider and the last movie had
Oh
fucking
yeah,
top tier soundtrack.
amazing music. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like,
agree.
and like I know we discussed this at the very beginning. I think Born to Be Wild was made for Easy Rider, but I could be totally wrong about that.
I don't. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I just don't know, so I don't want to say. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think you're right.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I
Because
guess I don't.
whenever anyone hears that, what's up?
I said I guess I don't know either, but I feel like I read that somewhere, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah,
What were you gonna
I
say?
was gonna say. I think. Oh, I was gonna say. I think whenever people hear that song, they think of this movie, but like, I don't know if that's true because like I don't know. Like, it's a pretty popular song. I think the song's actually more popular than the movie. I think this movie's popular, like as far as name, like it's not like Halloween or something where literally everyone's seen it, but it's like one of those movies that like everyone knows the name of. Like my dad hasn't seen it, for example. Like, I mean, I know that's like a really obvious example, but I don't know.
No,
Like,
I
I just mean like if you go,
sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say like some random person off the street, like especially our age, probably hasn't seen Easy Rider. I don't
Yeah,
know, but maybe that's not true.
no, that's fair. I don't think I think it would. Well, I think you're right. I think like a lot of people from this generation haven't seen Easy Rider, but just in the same way they haven't seen, so many like countless films that are huge and
Yeah,
impactful. I mean, I bet you like over 95% of this generation, if you went up to them on the street, hasn't seen The Wizard of Oz, or something like that. Like
yeah.
something so like universally appreciated. And
But they at least know the outline of the Wizard of Oz, though.
yeah, that's true. That
I
is
don't know that. I don't know if they know that about Easy Rider.
yeah, yeah, that's true. They've at least heard of The Wizard of Oz. But
Yeah,
the
like they could tell you
generation,
the Kurta metaphor and stuff.
yeah, yeah. But like the generation that this movie came out for knows this film, because I remember like talking to like grandparents of mine that like saw this film.
Uh,
Like
I don't have hip parents then because none of them have seen it.
like my dad was even saying, because my dad's he's not from this generation, but he's right at that edge because my dad's older.
Yeah,
He was telling me, like how he saw this film and stuff, and he knows it, and he'd seen it before, and but like I don't know, it's weird because for some reason, looking back at it, like hearing Born to Be Wild, I kind of associated it with this movie even before I've seen this movie, which I don't fucking know how I did, because how would I know that the film is or the music is actually in the film? But
yeah,
I for some reason, like thinking back about it, like I did associate that song with this movie.
interesting.
Yeah, it's fucking I don't know. But, any final thoughts on either of these, dude?
uh, they're two of my favorites. I don't know.
Awesome.
Like I said, we'll probably have to come back to them at some point, and I'll be more articulate once I get better at my broadcasting skills. But
Me as well. Me as well, man. We're doing this together, bro. We got this. We got
for
this.
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll leave it at they're both great, and I love them dearly. Last movie is newer to me than Easy Rider, so I'm still learning it. I'm still learning Easy Rider too, because I don't think you can graduate from any great movie. I mean, maybe that's not true. Maybe that's pretentious, but I think if a movie's for it to be great is something that you need to be able to continue returning back to, is what I'm trying to say. And I think Easy Rider is one of those movies.
Yeah. No,
And the
that's
last movie I've seen like maybe 5 times
yeah.
in
Yeah,
like the
no, I
last like
think
year or two. I don't remember when I first saw it.
I think that's totally true. I think every great movie there's going to be something you recognize in that film every time, or
Hmm.
something new you find, or just something new, um
For sure.
but yeah, I would say, I loved Easy Rider. I really liked the last movie. I appreciated both of the films for what they were, and um I mean, they're both films I'm gonna go back to eventually. I'm really glad I watched them for the first time. I can now mark that off my list, like I said, and I can actually, speak about these films with some knowledge of them,
Hmm.
which, is always good. But Yeah,
Absolutely.
they're definitely both very unique films, and I like, and in their own ways, completely different from each other, but you could totally tell they're made by the same person. Um,
Hmm.
directed by the same guy, and I thought that was very interesting. Like Dennis Hopper kind of, I mean, I haven't seen his other films, but with these films, he really had his own style in a way, and his own
Absolutely.
method of like attacking a film and making it, and you could really tell. So I really appreciate
Hmm.
it.
I read a review somewhere that like someone said these are the most American European films ever made, or something like that.
Yeah,
Which
because I, I mean, like the last movie, it reminds me of like a Jean-Luc Godard film, almost like,
yeah, that's a huge influence on him.
yeah,
He quoted that and like his like thesis statement for the movie. Like he was like, there's like a dark quote where it's like a movie needs to have a beginning, middle, and end, but not necessarily in that order. And then Dennis Hopper like directly quoted that.
yeah, yeah. I've heard that quote. Yeah, it reminded me of
So
Contempt. I don't know if have you ever seen that?
I've seen Contempt. Yes, I need to rewatch that one. I've only seen it once.
I don't know why it reminded me of it. Maybe because they both, are talking about film industry, but
Like about their filmmaking films.
yeah. Um.
Yeah,
All right.
isn't
Sweet.
Fritz Lang in that one?
Yeah, Fritz Lang is in that one. So I wonder if maybe that was an influence because famous director making a movie within a movie, another famous director making a movie within a movie. I don't know.
Maybe.
Fritz Lang's
I didn't
making.
think about it, but maybe.
I forgot what Fritz Lang is making. It's some like
I did too. I haven't seen it in a while.
it's like an adaptation of a
Is
very
it like a big epic?
yeah, it's like a big epic. I I I, I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's is he making like the Odyssey or something? I don't know. But he's making
I
some type
can't.
of film.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I should
All
watch
right.
that movie at some point because it's
Yes, we
pretty
should.
good. I
Yeah.
need to
That's
rewatch it.
that might be my favorite.
Oh, do you want next week's movies?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do. So I mean, I was kind of torn on what to pick, but I think in doing this episode and especially thinking about like, you know, the idea of wanting to share movies that we really love and like that the other person
Hmm.
hasn't seen. Um, I think if possible, we're gonna do a Aki Kaurismäki double feature. I think that's how you say his name. But anyways, two of my favorite films by him, Shadows in Paradise, like legitimately one of my favorite films ever, and you can find it on Criterion Channel. Very short film too, so it's gonna be perfect for our busy schedules.
Okay, cool.
Shadows in
Awesome.
Paradise and The Match Factory Girl, which like literally both films are like
Okay,
below 80 minutes long. But I hope
awesome.
I know
Those
Shadows in
are the
Paradise is on
best movies.
Criterion Channel, but I hope The Match Factory Girl is still on there. I know it used to be, but if not, we'll figure out. Well, I'm sure we could find a
It
link.
might be on. Is it on Canopy? You think?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah, we'll find a way.
yeah, we'll find a way. We'll figure it out. But yeah, let's do those. Those are I think you're gonna love those films, or I think you're gonna really like them. I think you're gonna appreciate them. They're
Awesome.
kind of they're really cool, and especially Shadows in Paradise really holds a big place in my heart. It's like one of my top five favorites, I think.
Awesome. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah, man. Well, sweet. This was a great episode. I'm glad. I mean, albeit with technical issues, but we're gonna figure all that out. Our production value is gonna go up as we make the millions, and you know,
Absolutely.
once
Support us on Patreon.
yeah, but yeah, man. Well, yeah, it was great talking to you, man, and good episode.
We're talking to you too. Sorry, you're cutting out, so I don't know when you're talking. When you're taking a pause.
Oh, it's okay. Can you hear me now or is it with the delay?
I could hear you now, but
Okay, sweet. All right, man. Well, yeah, great episode. Think
mhm,
yeah. Think we said all there is to say.
absolutely.
All right, man.
Well, you could probably I probably could have been more articulate, but whatever. That's what the 100 episode is for. The 104th episode.
Yeah, like my thought is like at our 100th episode we're going to take clips of this one and be like, critique ourselves,
For sure.
you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching the Cinemadome podcast. We're going to be back next week with another episode.
All right, see ya.
See you guys.